Hi.
I'm from Indonesia, Anita.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. So we are now recording, so we'll get started. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us for the Global Chamber's monthly Export Import Forum. I'm the moderator, Anita Rodal, president of SBPI Services. We connect importers, exporters, and global companies to the best currency exchange company for them based on their location and the countries they do business in or with. I am very proud to be a member of the advisory board for the Los Angeles chapter of the Global Chamber. The Global Chamber, for those of you who are attending for the first time, is a growing collaborative community of CEOs, executives, and business leaders in over 525 metro regions around the world and growing, I might add. Its mission is to foster growth in cross-border business, trade, and investment in every region of the world by providing its members with warm introductions, valuable connections, and timely information. I do invite you to put your contact information in the chat, especially the link to your LinkedIn page, and please include your full name so it's easier for people to find you that way. And by the way, do not forget to save the chat. I have done that on occasion. So let me tell you how today's forum will work. In the first 2/3 of the hour, I'll be interviewing two amazing experts. And in the last 20 minutes or so, we will open it up to Q&A and conversation. So I would like to ask everyone to please put yourselves on mute now if you're not already on mute, because we're being recorded. And in the last part of the meeting, you can take yourselves off of mute. So today we're very lucky to have two amazing experts from two different yet strangely enough interrelated fields. Because we have limited time, I will read you only a fraction of their complete bios, but I urge you to look them up on LinkedIn where you can get a whole lot more information on all of their achievements. So we're going to start with Monica Vares. Monica, I'll do it in English. Monica is the founder of Vares Commercial Insurance Brokerage. Her company specializes in helping business leaders protect their global interests with insurance solutions that are customized to their company's needs. A lot of C's in there. Now, this is not how Monica originally envisioned her life. Finishing up college in South America and looking forward to studying art in Spain, Monica's plans were dashed when her father suddenly moved the family to the US. While initially this seemed to Monica like a huge misfortune, being all alone in a foreign country and a completely unfamiliar culture and language, Monica soon realized that she'd been handed a great opportunity. In fact, the challenges that Monica faced in adapting to her new country ended up serving her well when she entered the world of commercial insurance. She met many a leader who struggled with expanding their companies internationally, especially when it came to navigating new languages, dealing with new systems, and adjusting to new ways of conducting business. Monica, who had already figured out the secrets to adapting, became indispensable to these business leaders. In addition to Vara's commercial insurance brokerage, Monica has founded and led multiple companies, including Pay Staffing LLC, Tempo Services, and the Mawa Agency Incorporated. She knows how to successfully manage teams, operations, and client relationships while driving growth and improving efficiency. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you. And hello, everyone.
Okay. So we're going to start off with the 4 questions I ask everyone that I interview in this forum, just to give people an idea as to where you are and how you got here. So the first question is, how long have you been in this line of work?
I would say close to 15 years.
Okay, that's a good amount of time. And what got you into this line of work?
As you mentioned, when I came for the first time to the United States, I came with a completely different degrees and a completely different education. But one of the first opportunities that I have was to work for an insurance agency that was owned by a very good friend of mine. He teach me a lot. He took the time to prepare me, and I end up loving what I was doing. And since then, I have been doing insurance.
Okay, great. Now, what do you like the most, or what do you like best about what you do?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity of safeguard individual businesses and properties through insurance products. It's very reassuring to know that insurance serves as a safety net and enables to recover most of our properties.
Okay, great. And the flip side of that, what do you like the least about what you do?
Well, insurance is very challenging, it's complicated, policies and processes are very difficult. And I can see that my clients have the same reaction. So what we have to do is we have to walk them through the process in an easy way for them to understand what the policies are all about. And then what I don't, sometimes I also find very tough when clients have losses, and I have to be there to protect them and to walk them through.
You're the bearer of bad news, or as they say, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so now let's get into some more specific questions. So, as a commercial broker based here in the US, what are some of the typical client categories that you serve in the global arena?
Basically, we help the importers and the exporters in the global market.
Okay. Now, these are people that are based here in the United States, right?
Well, not necessarily. We have three different type of clients. We have the client that is here in the United States. Then we have the client that is coming into the United States for the first time. And third, we have the global client, the client that is doing business all around the world.
Okay, great. Now, what different types of insurance, commercial insurance lines do you offer? Because I want to stress that you do commercial, you do not do residential or health related or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I will say there are plenty, but 10 of them are the base products that we offer: commercial property, liability, workers' compensation, commercial auto, cyber security, directors and offices, business interruption, professional liability, errors and omissions. We have the employee benefits packages where we include life insurance and disability products, and then marine and cargo insurance.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. All
Yeah.
right. So let's focus on the non-employee and non-shipping types of insurance. Can you describe in just a sentence, I'll read off the ones so that you don't have to remember what they are, why each of the ones we're going to talk about are important to a foreign company relocating to operations in the US. So for example, commercial property insurance, why is that important to people who are relocating here to the United States?
Because that protects the company physical assets. So if you're going to start businesses in the United States and you don't have that protection, you can lose everything.
Okay. How about liability insurance? What does that cover for them?
Okay, liability insurance protects you against any lawsuit, against any claims for damages to other people's property. And basically, it will pay for an attorney to defend you in any lawsuit.
Okay.
Case.
Are you ever asked to testify or to talk if there is a lawsuit?
Yes, I was there once.
Okay, that's a whole nother conversation. Would love to hear how that went.
Yeah, it was a
Commercial,
sad story.
it's got to be very interesting though. Commercial auto, what does that entail?
Well, it will protect your commercial vehicle. It will protect the people or the employees that are driving the vehicle. And also, if you have any business property in the vehicle, it will be protected also.
Okay. Now cyber liability, that's like everybody's worst nightmare to be hacked, obviously. So what does the cyber liability insurance cover?
Well, now that we do everything online, is very important because it will protect your data. It will protect your clients' data. during any breach of communication, any cyber threats that might occur. Sometimes we take credit cards or we have clients' important information in the systems that will be protected. And also, as a part of liability in the cyber product, that it will pay for any attorney's fees that you might need during the process of recuperating your system. And also, if you have a loss of income while you work without a system, that will be paid too.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine it's incredibly complex.
It is. It is a process.
Okay.
It's a big process.
Now, business interruption, what does that cover and why do people need it?
Okay, that will pay for any loss of income. For example, let's say that a tree fell into your warehouse, right? And when the tree fell in the warehouse, it brought all the electricity down. So you cannot get into your warehouse for 2 weeks. That means you cannot work for 2 weeks. Business incomes will pay for all the loss of income that you have incurred during those 2 weeks.
So, given that we've got extreme weather stuff going on, we've just had a couple of tremendous rainstorms here in California. Does it cover areas where they might be in a zone like a hurricane zone or, earthquake or things that are like forces of nature? Like a tree falling is more random, but hurricanes happen all the time, tornadoes, earthquakes, sinkholes. Does it cover?
Yes, you just gotta make sure that those are listed in your policy. Sometimes sinkhole is optional, like earthquake, it will be optional. So you just gotta make sure that according to the specific area where you are, those things are included in your policy. But yeah, it will be covered.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now, do commercial lenders leave states like residential lenders do? Because I have property in Florida. It's very hard to get a home insured in Florida anymore. Is that, do commercial lenders leave states as well when there happen to be a lot of disasters or floods or things of that sort?
Yes, yes, they do. They do. Right now, I know it's very hard to get any type of residential uh, home insurance in Florida, but sometimes perhaps you can go through the commercial channels, and if you have that property or you were thinking to rent that property, you can list it as a rental property, and you can get a different type of insurance company looking at that specific need. So you just need to be a little creative sometimes, because like right now in New Jersey, we're gonna have a lot of issues with auto insurance. A lot of carriers are not gonna be writing auto for a period of time. So I was recommending my clients to put the vehicles under the company name and to get commercial auto policies. And that will work. Sometimes,
Okay,
we have to be
interesting.
creative and get some different solutions.
Absolutely. That's why we're talking to you. That's so important. Okay, professional liability, errors and omissions. What does that entail?
Okay, that entails the policy will pay for any error or any omission that you might have while you were acting as a professional. For example, most of us that are entrepreneurs, we are always acting as a consultants, right? If I give an advice and I omit something, or by error I say something that it was not properly covered, or was or it will cause a damage to a person for something, the policy will pay it. I have one as an insurance broker. I need to carry errors and omissions. That will protect me for any misinformation perhaps that I gave someone.
Okay, so that's we'll come back to that because I have some other questions about that. But let me ask you this. So how early can you start working with a potential client, and what additional services do you offer that people specifically in the global arena that may be working with clients that are coming to the United States that maybe they should know about?
I think the earlier the better. As soon as they're creating the entities, I think they should consult an insurance broker because we will be able to help them out and give them the proper information. Doing business in the United States is very different than doing business in other parts of the world. Our requirements are completely different. So as early as possible is best. We don't charge for any consulting. We don't have any consulting fees. So anyone that are needing advice, we will be happy to help them. We work with different trade association and different consulates. They usually refer us clients that are thinking to come to the United States and do businesses here.
Okay. Now you also, I think you mentioned when we were talking, one of the services that you do offer is kind of like a feasibility study. Like if they're trying to decide, should they come here? You know,
Yes, because I was part of the, I have been working with the U.S. Commercial Office and Select USA. We have access to a lot of information according to the industries and according to the countries, and we can help our clients and provide them with that information.
okay. Now, of all the types of insurance that you provide on a commercial basis, which are your foreign clients most surprised about? Like that they've never seen before, never had to get before, wasn't offered in their country? Like which ones are they most surprised about?
I would say most of them.
Really?
In a lot of other countries, you don't require insurance to do business. So when they come here, for example, I know that until 2021, if you were a vendor through Amazon and you were selling less than $10,000, you didn't need to have insurance here in the United States. But now, if you do more than $10,000 on sales with Amazon, you have to provide Amazon with liability, business interruption, commercial property, and certain type of insurance. So people are very surprised about our rules and regulations because they don't have to deal with that in other countries.
Now, does Amazon get added on as an additional insured in that case?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. And let's say somebody has a couple of different Amazon shops because they sell different types of products, and maybe one in particular doesn't do more than 10,000, but when you combine them all, they are doing more than 10,000. Is it a
Yeah,
matter of
it
if
goes by
anything they're doing?
it goes by the
Yeah.
company. It doesn't go by the items. So if
Okay.
you as a company do more than 10,000, then you require to have.
Okay, based on the company. Okay, great. Okay, fantastic. Alrighty, so thank you for that. Clearly we have barely scratched the surface. So the whole point of these forums is to give people a little bit of information and kind of get the thought processes going that you might not have considered before when you're dealing with your global clients. But the idea is that you want to reach out to them after the fact. So Monica will have her contact information in the chat. You can find her on LinkedIn. So make sure you do reach out afterwards. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Anita, and thank you everyone for the opportunity.
And we'll be talking, we'll have Q&A afterwards. So
Yes.
if you have questions, save them till the end and you'll be able to ask Monica. Okay. James Juan. He actually goes by Jim, but I wrote it out formally and I'm not changing my script at this point. So you'll be James for the day.
Thank you, Anita.
All right. So here's a little bit about James. James Huang is an accomplished and visionary leader in the commercial real estate industry with over 25 years of experience in brokerage, investment, management, and advisory services. He is the president of eXp Commercial, a division of eXp World Holdings, which is a global cloud-based real estate company that offers 24/7 access to training, collaborative tools, and socialization for real estate professionals. James builds, oversees, and runs commercial and ancillary services that support the growth of eXp Commercial, both domestically and globally. Having launched and managed several companies from startup to profitability, James leverages his operations experience to create a culture of diversity, collaboration, and teamwork. James is also a shareholder and advisor to real estate syndication firms and startup technology companies, helping them raise capital and connect with other private equity investors and family offices. As a certified international property specialist, James has tremendous expertise and is part of a large network of experienced real estate professionals who specialize in the global real estate market. James is also the national president of the Asian Real Estate Association of America, or ARIA, which is a nonprofit organization that promotes sustainable home ownership opportunities in Asian American communities. Welcome, James.
Thank you, Anita. It's hello everyone, and it's a privilege and it's fun to be here. Love the Global Chamber.
Good. Global Chamber loves you back.
Thank you.
Okay. Generic questions first. And I actually answered my own question, but we'll let you reiterate. How long have you been in this line of work?
Well, now 27 years, almost 28 years. So, with LinkedIn, we don't always update everything as quick as we do, but about 27 years in the commercial real estate industry.
Okay, that is a very long time. What got you into this line of work?
Well, I actually fell into it after Wall Street, doing a lot of management, being a banker. I went into portfolio management. So when I first came into commercial real estate, it was by accident running portfolios, looking, underwriting, evaluating until I said, well, this is great, but I want to be more of an entrepreneur to start my career in commercial real estate, building my own business and company. So kind of took the venture off the W-2 to 1099, which we're all entrepreneurs if we're not getting a steady paycheck. And it was exciting to break off on my own, build my own company. And like many are going through now, getting through the 2007, 2009 recession. But when I started Wall Street, it was the 89, 92 recession. So you kind of see different large recessions and little blips on the market, as we all know, asianflu.com. There's all these little hiccups along the way.
Yeah. And I point out, just like Monica was planning on studying art, James was going to go to medical school. So none of us ever end up where we think we're going to end up. That's the moral of the story. Okay. What do you like the best about what you do?
You know what the best thing is? Having great conversations with different people. And I always say, as you start moving up, but everyone's important to have a conversation, you just never know. And as I keep talking to people, which I do about 8 to 12 calls a day, and a lot of them, I would say more than 50% are unique calls with principals, owners, leaders around the world, you get intel, you get information, you get knowledge, you get an aha, thinking a different way. So I'd say the best thing is for me having all these conversations and meetings and just constantly learning and innovating, creating and seeing how other people are doing things to kind of bring it to myself and home and to our team to see a different way of doing business.
Okay, awesome. Now, what do you like the least about what you do?
Well, I start traveling. So as I started growing the company, traveling in all 50 states, and now starting global traveling, that's the hardest part, away from my family. You know what I mean? To build a company business, we love to do things the way we're doing it now, Zoom, virtual, but there is something to meet a person in person and a team. We don't have to do as much as the paradigm shifts since COVID. It's not now disrespectful to do this type of meeting first, but eventually they would like to do business, meet you in person, shake your hand, having a meal with you, breaking bread. It is very important. So even though technology has changed a lot of ways we do business as an opening, there is always something about meeting people in person. So the hard thing is being away from my family. Traveling the 3 weeks out of the month is pretty tough.
Oh my God, 3 weeks out of the month, you're gone?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we're virtual, right?
Wow.
Our company is a virtual company where I could work from anywhere. So I still do, I always say, the day job, managing, handling operations, and then having all my meetings. So I literally can work on all time zones. And that's the tiring part, is talking from London, US, Asia, Middle East, right? We all know here we're doing calls, waking up at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, all parts of doing a a call. And like this, everyone's in all parts of the world. So everyone, like you said, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah.
We're on call all the time now.
Very much so. And I've shared that experience. I go to Spain usually for a month every year. And other than people saying, why are you emailing me at 3 in the morning? Well, for me, it was 11 already. So, but it's none of their business. I work from wherever I am as well. So I get that. Okay, fantastic. So now let's get into some specific questions. You already answered one of them, which was, okay, so I know that you're in 24 different countries, you said, and I'm sure that's a growing number as well. But you are in all 50 states as well. So that's a huge
We
reach.
are. Yeah, and that's the great thing about the structure of our company. One, we're virtual, like Zoom. We have our own virtual company using different things. Now everything's kind of going to this mobile. Everything's on your phone. Never lose your phone. And so in 50 states, 24 countries, but it's that network being one company, not franchised. We are interconnected in a way that, the knowledge and information goes much quicker because we're corporate and we're one big company rather than broken up into little pieces.
Okay, that's great. Now, because you are in 24 countries, and are you able to help your US clients evaluate the pros and cons of opening operations in one country versus another based on your access to information about the real estate?
Yes, so we always have boots on the ground, but we also have the connections and relationships in every country, the nuances. As Monica says, right, you've got to understand the different variances, knowledge, what's going on, rules and regulations. That's the one that can get you in trouble, and really who you could trust. Like the Global Chamber, you need to find people you could talk to that are industry experts of that specific product type or service. You do need to know who to go to. And having a large network where we have 90,000 agents in our company, over 2,000 employees, there is a heavy reach that we can reach out to anyone. And then that doesn't even include our strategic partners, where in some countries we don't have our brokerage company, but we do have strategic partners that we do business, from consulting to development to technology to renewable. I mean, there is so much. And right now, global currency, as we were talking, Anita, money's moving all around the world looking for a home. Yes, the US does drive it with our elections, waiting for elections to happen, watching what happens. But like globally, we watch the UK, they're in a technical recession. Japan is in a technical recession. Everyone is watching things, especially from our companies, the currency, the inverse yield curve, bond yields, how we move money around. And there's different movement in different parts of the world where we can deploy capital, where we can buy assets, and where we can help people as we run portfolios reposition their assets for a risk assessment, which is what everyone wants.
Okay, yeah. And, speaking of things that are happening, I remember as Brexit was going on, literally it was like gonna kick in after midnight, and we were trying to get somebody's currency transfer. Well, the people that I represent, they were trying to get the currency transfer done before midnight because she was moving pounds to the US and it was about to get devalued. So things beyond your control. Okay, now in addition to any information that you give them, is it always a good idea for people to do their own due diligence when they're thinking of buying property in the US or somewhere else? And what types of things can an individual research?
Well, living in the technology age right now, you can Google it or ask AI. So, that's the advancement, but we all know it's not all good information. A lot of times right now, people, if you watch social media, you don't know, is this real, that real? So you do your guidance, right? Looking at enough different sources. And I would say researching from other large companies, established companies. Don't just look at an influencer because they may not really know and their knowledge, but with other large institutions, publicly traded, because they're under certain guidelines to operate in their country. Then with these networks is to reach out to another. So I would say Google it to kind of get a good idea. Look for other experts that you can probably reach out. Go through a referral network of people you trust that they could give you, I would say, 3 to 4 names so you can interview to do your due diligence and get to know everyone within a certain marketplace, and then make your own decision. I would even say this: hire an attorney, bring in third-party experts, pay the extra dollar, because then they're on the hook too, CYA, so they can kind of help you, whether it's an international attorney, tax attorneys, everyone else. You need to go through experts, especially if you're playing with big dollars, even if it's small. I've seen some people try to buy small businesses in the US, and they trusted someone locally or in your community, got scammed, right? And this is terrible, where an immigrant comes over, brings all their money in cash, tries to buy a small business, and they think, I don't need help, I trust this person. They lost their entire money because they didn't know all the nuances of leases, inventory, finance. Go to experts, do research, talk to as many people. And like Monica says, earlier is better. Don't wait to the last minute. It will always cost you if you wait too long.
Yeah, I agree. And for those that don't know, CYA stands for Cover Your Assets. Okay, on the incoming side of commercial real estate, this is kind of similar to what I asked Monica with regard to insurance. Are there any issues or challenges that you find that are specific to foreigners buying commercial real estate here in the US versus what US buyers would encounter?
Yes. So a lot of times, besides, I say, the Commonwealth countries, right? My English law and others, there is some similarities to the English language. There is always a language, cultural, and the way we do things. Sometimes they're very loose on how they do deals. And in different countries, it's not as, let's say, mature market like the US, but that's why they like to invest in the US. But we have steps and standards. How do we go through the process? And the process is what kills and hurts a lot, because they find it disrespectful. I'm a billionaire from this country. Why don't you just show and do it? Why am I doing it this way? Because it's almost being disrespectful for their status in the country. But going through intermediaries or lawyers to not show that it's disrespectful for cultural or others is going through the right steps and managing, right? Expectations and processes and procedures, because they don't know why you have to be under contract. You can't just look at the building, moving currency, all these steps that they have to follow correctly. But to them, it's almost rude or disrespectful, besides the Commonwealth countries that are used to more the English way of doing it. So learning about other countries, understanding how they operate to manage. This is the most important thing, because I've seen deals, really big deals, but the client could buy it, but they thought it was disrespectful, and they said, forget it. They're a billionaire, they don't care. They say, I'm not going to do business. I don't like this. So I forget it. I don't need to do this. So it is
Wow.
important to understand the different cultures, nuances, and almost set them up, how the procedures and flows in America, if they're buying here or in any other country, how does it work? And then really control it. And that's why we're all here, to manage the expectations and making sure that no one gets really thinking they got disrespected. And that's a big thing with big dollars, international players.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely imagine that. Now, what percentage of the foreign clients you work with would you say are buying commercial real estate as an investment versus buying it to be an owner occupant here in the US?
Yeah, so kind of both, right? Depending on shifts, but there are, as we're moving supply chains after COVID, people are moving out of China, Southeast Asia, Mexico, other ways of moving, outsourcing. So because of the way markets shift, I would say a lot of times there are occupiers, they're looking to establish in the US with the corporate headquarters. They're buying and building their infrastructure. They're diversifying, after COVID, their corporate headquarters not always being centralized in a major metropolitan area, still having a presence, but spreading it around. As we all know, through the technology of online shopping is further growing. Like we're talking with Monica about Amazon, they are looking to build distribution hubs all around. They are looking at building ports, last mile distribution, as we're repositioning office and retail plazas. how does the supply move to the individual? So I would still say at this point, there is more occupier users than there are investors like before, because now money's tight. But as the market may be going into a recession, we know the flow of capital investors do come to the US for preservation of their capital and safety. So we are seeing still, after COVID, people being occupiers more than investors. But now, as we're changing the market situation, people are coming back to look for a deal, right? Everyone's trying to look for a deal. The issue currently is the bid ask. No one understands where the right valuation is at this time. That's the problem, where a lot of money is sitting on the sideline because they just don't know the bid ask and the right numbers. So it's easy to say, I'm going to buy this. But if you waited 6 more months after the election, you may have gotten it cheaper, right? Because that's what's kind of going on right now. The bid ask spread is very wide because people do not know the actual correct pricing at this point.
And part of what I think might tie into that is not just the election itself, but different treaties, different trade treaties, they may be altered depending on what administration comes in next. And so they might say, well, this is urgent. I can't wait till after the election, on the chance that things change. And now if I don't have operations over here, I'm going to get hit with a 10% tariff or something like that. So I would imagine some of that plays into it as well.
It does, because we all saw, depending on the administration, with tariffs, taxes, sentiment of different countries. I know, without being political, when certain things feels uncomfortable in the States, they actually pulled back their investments. They want to say, no, I do not want to be there because of tariffs or feelings in the country. They don't come, or immigrants do not move into our country. So it is important where they kind of already know. But I would also say when there's kind of a divided government, it's stable, people know there's not going to be any serious changes or anything dramatic, that the company is at balance. So a lot of times it is very important, especially at current rates, where it's more divided and extreme, that people are very careful depending on which country works with the US. So it is extremely important, especially this cycle and currently what's going on globally.
Yeah. Okay, great. So the other question I had was more fluff than substance. So because we got a little bit of a late start, at this point, I want to switch over to Q&A because we only have another 15 minutes. And I do firmly believe we should end when we say we're going to end so people can get to their next appointments. So we are going to open it up. Before I do that, I just want to let you know, so we all do fit on the same screen, but at any rate, use the Alt-Y, which puts your hands up, puts your virtual hand up. If you want, if a question or a comment, we can do that now. So go ahead and unmute yourselves if you like. And does anybody have any questions? They were very thorough, so you may actually not have any questions, in which case I will ask my last question of James. Okay, let me ask you this other question I was going to ask you, James. So if someone is either importing or manufacturing to export, like what are things that are specific to that you might advise them on? So this is people like doing real estate here. Let's say they're already here, but they're either importers or they're manufacturers / exporters. Like, what are the types of things that you're kind of opening their eyes to?
Yeah, so I've been involved with TSMC, as they're moving from Taiwan to Phoenix market. Political laws, rules, regulations, maybe some tax credits, other benefits that people are looking for, infrastructure being built, water, resources being put over. So depending on how big your project is, obviously TSMC, they're bringing almost 20 subsidiary companies coming over, right?
Yeah.
That is a major, you're building the west side of Phoenix, pretty much on that whole area. So
Yeah.
it is understanding from a small local rules, laws, political structure to very large projects. And we've been involved in, unfortunately, having a political part of the company to connect you with with whether it's the chamber, planning commissions, the city council, state legislative, people. You're talking about Select LA, Select. We're very involved with many of these larger groups, NGOs, political groups, because when you're talking about import export, sometimes it does get pretty complicated for developing, where you're developing, who, where, to know these local rules, laws, and to see what other resources that you can get. So one thing is, a lot of people that you do use as consultants are usually politically connected. And you do need that. And I know Monica was talking about many of the political, you do need to unfortunately be involved and know where to go. Otherwise, your permits, process, procedures, slow, very slow, and you're burning money and not coordinating everything you do.
Yeah. So can you actually, and then Monica, I know you want to say something, but so will you, if they come to you early enough, which is of course, now I understand the benefit of that. James, do you actually help them determine what state would be good for them? Literally, depending on whether they're, you know, they rely more on freight versus, you know, shipping by water or air freight or whatever. I mean, do those kinds of things play into what state and then what location within a particular state they might want to open in?
Yeah, so we have different committees and teams that work on logistics, industrial, public-private partnerships. So we can bring in many different teammates to sit to meet. So it's really never one person. No one person has all that knowledge. And we bring in experts after an interview discussing needs, wants, purpose, what do you want to accomplish. We bring in all the right teammates to kind of give you a proposal, an idea, concept. Other experts you could interview, review, to put a plan together, and whether you like it or not, or tweak it, to put a plan and then move on. But many other large firms, that's the system, right? And they may interview 2 to 3 other firms to see who has the best plan for the cost, and how those that have done it before, right? They're going to look for track record, so whoever they pick can execute on whatever they say they're going to do.
Okay. Monica, is that kind of along the lines, you know, of what you do as well? You look at those types of factors?
Yes, a matter of fact, what I do and what I did this year, because I have a good group of clients from Australia coming to open businesses in the United States, and they were a lot misinformed on a lot of information. So I try to invite them to go into events, like for example, the event that Select USA has, right? It's a great opportunity for any person to come and learn about the different industries that they have. Not only that, you will have access to the platform, and you will be able to see, according to your industry, what are the pros and cons, and everything else, what are the requirements. And it's few events like that are great opportunities. The same trade associations on the different consulates, those are another entities that can help them out. Yeah, but I agree with James. The more that they gather early enough is the better.
Have either of you ever advised somebody that they are so far off in where they think they want to be from where they should be that you just cannot not tell them that? I see you're both smiling, and James is like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever lost a client over that? Like, where you just say, this is just the wrong thing for you to do?
Yes, Anita. So yeah, you fire clients, right? When they're unrealistic, and we're not the ones, in a polite manner, right? We don't want to burn bridges, but if it doesn't make sense, we're very honest, and we say we may not be the ones for you.
Okay, good.
Correct.
So yes, you're clearly willing to walk
Yeah.
away, which
Yeah, it's better to get that approach than later on have a big consequence or something because we didn't say, what it was right at the moment. Yeah.
yeah. Chris, I see you're giving a thumbs up. Do you have any comments on that?
No.
All right. Has anybody else ever run into that? Because we all deal with global business. Erica.
To answer your question, yes, absolutely. Because, you start working with people, their expectations, your expectations, you don't ever meet in the middle. And then they feel like you're not doing your job when in reality, nobody's probably going to be able to help them. So I had a quick question for Monica, and you may have said this, so forgive me if I missed it, but you can do insurance for businesses and companies in all 50 states, correct?
Correct.
What about US territories?
Yes, we have different clients. I mean, different companies. That's what I meant to say. And according to the client's needs, that's where we go. For example, when we have global clients, we go through different brokerage because as a company or as a myself, I can carry all the licenses here in the United States, but I cannot carry all the licenses abroad and at different countries. And when that happens, I use different brokerages.
Okay, great. So specifically, what about Puerto Rico?
Well, Puerto Rico is easy enough because it's considered part of the United States, and most of the carriers here in the United States, right? Puerto Rico.
That's what I thought. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you both, all.
You guys can connect. Yeah, I mean, Puerto Rico is and should be the 51st state. Let's all agree on that. Or not. Anyways, okay. Okay, Chris, is that a hand up or is that an applause?
Just clapping.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Who else has had to deal, so besides Erica, like a case where you just found that expectations were just so not working? Like even Dan, okay, Dan, a year in Indonesia, does it work the same way in reverse? Like somebody's coming from the US to open operations in Indonesia, and you're like, you try and give them information, but they're not listening or they're not hearing what you're saying?
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hello from Indonesia. It's almost 4 a.m. here.
Oh my gosh, you are amazing.
Okay, no problem. So this is my first time to join a Global Chamber webinar. So I'm
Welcome.
kind of, yeah. I'm just trying to explore what it's all about, and I'm following Monica and James, and wow, it's amazing. It's opened something new from my mind. I knew that US is a state where service industries are very overwhelming, service industry. But I have never known that so many kind of insurance, so many kind of services that you was provide there. Wow, it's amazing. I came across James' website, and then I found out, wow, you have so many kind of business that I truly I don't understand yet right now. I'm curious to know. So right now I don't have any question about it, but to answer your question, Anita, I don't have any experience with US market or US investor right now. My experience is from Japan because my company is closely related with Japan, so I export some commodities mainly to Japan, and I also help them to invest in Indonesia. So maybe a bit similar with what James do. Yeah, I provide them some advice and especially for brokerage for the property, I do that. But I'm not sure that they have so many kind like in US, like insurance or something like that. I do not know exactly, but it's always fun to know something new every day. That's it. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you. So glad you joined us. Which brings me to the next point.
Well,
We're
and
gonna wrap up because it is
Danny, reach
12.
out to me because we do business in Indonesia and Japan. So let me know how we can connect and I can share more. And we're involved in ASEAN down there too. So a lot of our friends they're members and everything out of Malaysia and Singapore.
Oh,
Reach
okay.
out,
I
please.
already put my contact in the chat room. You are welcome to contact me anytime, James.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yay, more connections. That's why we're here. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today for the Global Chambers Export Import Forum. And a special thanks to James and Monica. Amazing hearing from you. If you enjoyed today's discussion, I hope you'll join us next month, same time. It's the fourth Thursday of the month, and it will be March 28th. I would encourage you to check out the events calendar on the website globalchamber.org on a frequent basis. You can see different webinars and the occasional live events going on every day around the world. So do take care and remember that it is great to be global. Thanks again.
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Anita,
Bye.
Monica,
Thank
James.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye,
Anita.
everyone.
Hello.
Thanks.